It weighs about the same as a golden retriever. It's scared of you, statistically more than you're scared of it. And it is currently living in your city, possibly your backyard, and you had no idea. This is the coyote, North America's most successful predator you've never thought twice about, until the one time you actually should have. Today, we're covering how coyote encounters actually go, why almost everything that works on a bear works in reverse here, the one famous case where it went catastrophically wrong, and exactly what to do if a 50-pound wild dog decides you're worth investigating. This is Earth Survival Guide. Let's talk about the predator that's already closer than you think. Coyotes now live in nearly every major city in North America: Los Angeles, Chicago, New York, Toronto. Not the outskirts. Downtown. They use storm drains, greenways, and train tracks as highways, moving through cities almost entirely undetected. An adult male tops out around 23 kilograms. That's smaller than plenty of dogs currently sleeping on someone's couch right now. And despite the population explosion, fatal coyote attacks on adult humans are almost unheard of. As in, one confirmed case in all of recorded North American history, unheard of. We'll get to that one specifically because it matters. Most negative encounters follow the same pattern. A coyote that's lost its fear of people, usually because someone, somewhere, fed it. Intentionally, or by leaving pet food outside overnight, like a standing dinner invitation. Once a coyote associates humans with food, the natural wariness that's kept this species alive for thousands of years starts to disappear. And that's genuinely the moment risk begins. So before we get to what happens during an encounter, here's what prevents most of them from happening at all. Don't feed the neighborhood predator. Secure your trash. Bring pet food inside at night. Don't leave water bowls out. Pick up fallen fruit. None of this is exciting advice, and all of it is the single most effective thing you can do, statistically more effective than anything you're about to learn in the rest of this video. Keep small pets on a short leash, especially at dawn and dusk, when coyotes are most active. Never let a small dog or cat roam loose in coyote territory. To a coyote, that's not a pet. That's dinner wearing a collar. If you spot a coyote that isn't running from you, that's not a compliment to your friendly energy. That's a coyote that has, at some point, learned humans aren't a threat. And that's exactly the animal you now need to actively convince otherwise. This is where we get to the part that separates coyotes from almost every other predator on this channel: the encounter. If a coyote is at a distance and hasn't noticed you, or has noticed you and is already leaving, congratulations. The encounter is over. Go about your day. If it's approaching, holding its ground, or simply not leaving, this is the moment for hazing. That's the actual wildlife management term, and yes, it means exactly what it sounds like. Be as obnoxious and threatening as physically possible. Make yourself big. Raise your arms. Open your jacket. Wave a stick if you have one. Yell. Not a scream. A low, aggressive, authoritative yell. Clap your hands. Bang something metal if you're carrying it. Maintain direct eye contact the entire time. Unlike some predators where eye contact reads as a challenge, with coyotes it reinforces exactly the message you want to send. I see you, I am not prey, and I am not leaving quietly. If it still hasn't backed off, throw something. Rocks, sticks, whatever's within reach, aimed near it, not necessarily at it. The goal is startling it into reassessing this entire decision, not winning a fight you shouldn't need to have yet. Here's the detail that trips people up, because every other survival video on this channel says the opposite. Do not run. Ever. Running is the single fastest way to trigger a chase instinct in an animal that can hit speeds over 60 kilometers per hour. Faster than you, faster than your dog, faster than your regret. Back away slowly if you need to create distance, but keep facing the coyote the entire time, still yelling, still maintaining eye contact, still looking exactly as unappetizing as possible. Keep going until it's genuinely out of sight, not just quiet, not just sitting and watching you from a distance. Gone. A coyote that pauses to watch you leave hasn't necessarily given up. It may just be recalculating. So to summarize the entire philosophy here in one sentence, you're not trying to win a fight, you're trying to reteach an animal a lesson it used to already know. That humans are more trouble than they're worth. The exceptions that matter most. Nearly every recorded coyote bite involving serious injury involves one of two groups: small children and small pets. At a small child's height and size, a coyote's threat assessment genuinely changes. This is why wildlife agencies are blunt about it. Young children should not be left unsupervised in areas with known coyote activity, full stop. If a coyote approaches a child, an adult needs to intervene immediately, using the exact same hazing technique: big, loud, aggressive, and positioned between the animal and the child. The same logic applies to small dogs and cats. A significant number of human injuries actually happen during the moment someone tries to physically pull their own pet out of a coyote's grip, which is an understandable, entirely human instinct, and also exactly how a redirected bite ends up on a person instead of an animal. If your pet is engaged, haze the coyote the same way you would for yourself: loud, big, aggressive, rather than reaching directly into the middle of it. Which brings us to the one case that made an entire country change how it thinks about this animal. Cape Breton, 2009. Taylor Mitchell was 19 years old, an up-and-coming folk singer on tour, hiking alone on the Skyline Trail in Cape Breton Highlands National Park, Nova Scotia, on an October afternoon. Two coyotes attacked her. Other hikers heard her calls, reached her, and managed to drive the animals off, but her injuries were severe. She died the next morning in a Halifax hospital. It remains the only confirmed fatal coyote attack on an adult in recorded North American history. Researchers studying the case years later found something unusual. The local coyote population had adapted to hunting moose, animals many times their own size, because their usual prey had become scarce. Scientists believe that shift in diet may have changed how those specific coyotes assessed a lone human as potential prey, rather than a threat to avoid, a documented freak convergence of ecological pressure that researchers still call genuinely extraordinary. This case isn't included to frighten you out of hiking. It's included because it's the one data point that proves the baseline assumption: coyotes essentially never seriously harm adult humans. Isn't a guarantee, just very, very close to one. Which is exactly why hazing early and hazing hard matters, every single time, instead of assuming this particular coyote is definitely one of the harmless ones. If it actually attacks. If hazing fails and physical contact happens, the advice flips completely from the passive strategies you've heard for other animals on this channel. Do not play dead. That technique exists for animals that lose interest once a threat stops moving. Coyotes are not that animal in this scenario. Stillness here reads as an opportunity, not a truce. Fight back immediately and aggressively. Protect your face, throat, and neck with your arms. Use anything in reach: a stick, a rock, your bag, your fists. Stay on your feet if at all humanly possible. Going to the ground dramatically worsens your position against an animal built to grapple prey that's already down. Target the eyes and nose if you're forced into direct physical contact. The same soft, sensitive points that work against most mammalian predators, coyotes included. This is rare. Genuinely, statistically rare for an adult. But rare isn't the same as impossible, and the entire point of this video is that the response has to already be automatic, because there's no time to look it up mid-encounter, after the encounter. Any bite, no matter how minor it looks, needs medical attention. Wash the wound immediately with soap and clean water before you do anything else. Get to a doctor. You will likely need a rabies assessment and possibly a series of preventive shots, not because rabies is common in coyotes, but because it's fatal once symptoms start, and there's no version of "let's just wait and see" that makes sense with that math. Report the incident to local animal control or wildlife authorities. This isn't paperwork for its own sake. It's how habituated or sick animals actually get identified before the next encounter happens with someone less prepared than you now are. The one-sentence version. Never feed them, never run from them, always look bigger and louder than you feel, and if it actually comes to contact, fight. Because unlike almost everything else on this channel, this is the one animal where playing dead is exactly the wrong move. Most of you will never need any of this. The coyote in your neighborhood almost certainly wants nothing to do with you, and statistically, it's going out of its way to prove that every single day. But now you know the 1% version too. If this episode just changed how you'll react the next time something small, gray, and unbothered trots across your street at dusk, subscribe to Earth Survival Guide, hit the bell, and join us for the next scenario. Because the world can change in seconds, even the quiet, suburban, golden retriever-sized ones. Stay prepared, stay aware, survive.